You know, it's funny. I think we all knew that Angela Oakley felt like old school housewives, but if there was ever anything that gave us that OG housewives feeling, it was this trip to Dallas. Okay? It's even got Rihanna chiming into the comments. Bad girl Riri says, so add Angela to the list of people I ain't want smoke with. Check. Baby, let me tell you, Miss Angela, I don't think we really knew. Let me tell you why I'm mad. I don't think we really knew, and that preview did not give us what we just got. That, I don't think we've seen anything quite like that in some time. I'm gonna say there was Puerto Rico, right? Nene and Claudia. I'm gonna say there was Nene and Portia. The door is closed. Okay. And Nene arguing, and that bun is steadily falling. Marlo gotta fix it. But this right here gave me that old school housewives feeling. Just let me give you a little taste. Let me give you a little tastery.
Oh. How many houses do you
You
have
can
now?
never touch the money that I've got to touch
After
in my
Rocky
lifetime.
hit 10 people.
Honey's multi-million-dollar business.
$multi-million bill.
I have
Ugh. I mean,
a lot of money. My husband is
I
paying me.
know employees.
Okay, turn your fan on. You
I
sweating.
never
Turn your fan
cancel
on.
Christmas for my employees.
What are you
Ooh.
talking about?
Baby, how you doing the
Cancel
giveaway?
Christmas.
You
What are you
owe
talking
people.
Angela.
What are you talking about?
You owe employees, baby.
I don't owe no employees
sure about
at
that?
all.
It's the faces.
How much do you owe your foreclosers?
I don't owe many people.
They took them from you, baby.
You owe everybody from the people across the street.
I owe you.
When I tell you, y'all, this
Your new lace front.
Hey, Mr. Clean, don't do it backwards, Smurf.
I mean, I could go on. It was the tit for tit. It was the tit for tat for me. It was honestly, I was very, very pleased with last night's episode. At least this part of it. So let me give you my unadulterated thoughts. We're talking about season 17 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Atlanta, y'all, Atlanta still got it. Still got it. I gotta say it because I know a lot of people are out there probably saying, oh, Atlanta feels like loving hip hop. But this is what we came to see. This is the show right here. This is what we want more of. This is how you do it. Let me tell you what was so good about Angela and what she did. Angela technically didn't even need a curse word. That is some reading procedures right there. When you can deliver snappy comeback after snappy comeback after snappy comeback after snappy comeback, and you don't even have to utter a curse word, to me, baby, as a writer, that is what you want. Didn't need to come out of character, didn't get up out of her seat, didn't flinch not a bit. And Pinky, she got a few good jabs in there. It wasn't like it was just totally one-sided. But at the end of the day, I would have to give it to Angela because when you really think about this argument as it plays out on the screen, Pinky is technically arguing for two people who were actually talking about her, particularly one who is the actual person who says she eats meat, which is Kelly. So I'm like, Pinky, oh my God, this is quite the embarrassing thing right here that's happening. I mean, when you really dig into it, yes, they went blow for blow, and yes, Pinky hung in there, But to me, it was the bitch of it all. It was the standing up and sitting down of it all. It was just, if you're gonna be that aggressive, and I say aggressive because her tone was definitely aggressive as she was asking questions to Cynthia. But I'm gonna give you guys a disclaimer about that. For me, she went lighter on Cynthia than the women in Potomac went on Angel when they had dirty rooms and no water. That's number one. Okay. But let's start at the beginning. This was a good episode. So the ladies are all headed to Dallas. The theme is Dynasty, that they're supposed to be wearing their best Dynasty themed attire. We start out the episode with a very Dynasty-esque clip of Adrienne Maloof, who looks very snatched upon the face, but it looks great, but snatched upon the face. Cynthia Bailey and Phaedra Parks are all sitting down, and it's kind of giving, again, I felt like they were going for old school Housewives, nostalgia vibes. Portia and Phaedra definitely show up dressed and ready for Dynasty. The rest of the ladies didn't seem to get the memo. It is not lost on me either that Shamia does not know about Dynasty. That, I think, is a big part of the problem with the current Housewives, is that they are not familiar with Dynasty. Now, I'm not saying that in order to be a good housewife that you have to be familiar with Dynasty, but understanding the dynamics of Dynasty, understanding who Dominique Devereaux really is, especially for us as viewers who, and honestly, it's viewers of a certain age. Y'all know who we are. We know what it is. We know Dynasty. We know Alexis Carrington. We know those people. And those who don't, that is part of the problem. You don't understand the legacy of the shade off, wherein no one has uttered a curse word, but they are cutting each other with their words. That is Housewives. That is what we want. Okay? So, Shamia, what I need you to do is, I need you to expeditiously run down to whatever streaming service still plays Dynasty, or basically go to YouTube and watch some clips of Dominique Devereaux, Alexis Carrington, Dynasty. I can give you a bunch more references if you need them for some other similar shows, in case you need more examples of classic ladies who lunch men and women in power with power moves, how they conduct themselves and speak with each other, and what we would love to see more of from you, and less about you peeing in the cup in the stall in the bathroom on the way down to the Dallas house. Not to mention the fact that there are so many things to me that are reminiscent of Angel's trip with Cynthia's trip. And it's interesting to see the dynamics and how different they are for Cynthia versus the expectations of Angel and the women on Potomac. Okay. Now, there are a variety of differences. Yes, I do know. But there are some core elements that are happening that remind me of things that happened in Potomac. The very, very long drive to the house being one of them. There's that. But I want to run down some things that kind of confused me. And I'm going to start with K. Michelle first. When I initially stated that I'm really watching this season for K. Michelle, and while I think in some earlier episodes, Kay, there was a hint of this, but there was also the idea of her being so forthcoming with her story and things that were happening to her. Kay by herself is very exciting to watch. Kay mixed with the rest of the girls seems standoffish. She seems, and again, and I'm sure she's had her issues in the past with ensemble shows, but I just feel like there's this thing with Kay that sometimes I feel like, girl, you've got to participate. You've got to get in the game. Y- and for crying out loud, like I understand you may not know black in the biblical sense. You may not really know that man in general, but when Drew made the reference, I mean, you know him. I didn't see it as shade per se. I saw it mostly as maybe I've already heard that you know him. Let me just get it on out the way. And it was said very casually, unless Kay, who may now be on the defense in general after witnessing Portia versus Kelly and what Portia pulled out of the hat against Kelly, maybe K Michelle is spooked at this point. And maybe she thinks that this same thing is going to eventually happen to her. Like someone is going to pull something on her. And I feel like that's leading her down a path where she doesn't feel comfortable with these ladies. And I that saddens me because we're not getting the K that I thought that we would be getting, except for when she's by herself or in a small group of people that I feel like that she might be super comfortable with, or who she doesn't feel like are gonna try to get her. And I feel like right now she probably feels like Portia might be the type of person who might be trying to get her, but pretending not to get her. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I think that's her perception right now. And I can't blame her for having that perception, but I also think it's limiting what she's able to really contribute in the way that we see Pinky contributing in this particular episode. Pinky is saying the prayer, she's saying the sermon, she's taking the offering, she's doing praise and worship, she is doing vacation Bible school, she is doing Sunday school, she is doing homecoming services, she is on the kitchen committee. It is only vegan. You will only have plants. You will not have any meat. She wrote the Bible. She read the Bible. She invented the Bible. It is her Bible. So Pinky is all up in the mix, and she must question everything. I'm going to question Cynthia. I need to know what your intentions were for putting these ladies in this room. We're going to get to that in 1 second. All I'm saying is Pinky is active. And for whatever you guys may feel about her, I would prefer someone come in and be active. Come in, do the things and meddle. You know what I'm saying? You might meddle too much and get messed up, and somebody might have to get you together, aka Angela. But again, Pinky did roll with the punches, but Angela probably gets this. I mean, listen, she might that just might be her in general. But I feel like enough sparring with Charles has probably made her like, I live with a smart Alec, so you won't ever outsmart Alec me because I have to outsmart Alec him. That's what I feel like is going on with Angela. So when the ladies finally do get to, and again, that was K Michelle, and I'll get to her later. Well, let me talk about her now. Later on, she will do something that I think is so strange. She is going to skip dinner because she does not have glam. Your participation on this show must not be predicated upon you being able to get glam when you will then go and show up to the poolside with Shamia and Kelly for a scene, then later meander up to dinner when you guys hear the fireworks going off betwixt Angela and Pinky. For that matter, while Pinky is windmilling for her life, fighting for Shamia and Kelly, who are sitting mere feet away downstairs by the pool, why not just come up and eat at this point? The camera is there on you. Are you not eating because you just don't want to, you just want to get under Cynthia's skin? Is that why you're not eating? Because you're still filming. So it's not like no one wants to show up, and the dinner is at the house. So are you just not wanting to go to the main house? Like, what is that? I get the bathroom is not clean. I don't want to shower in there, but I don't get not eating. I am going to eat my food. I don't care if this is a part of reality TV. And I have to say this, and I understand K. Michelle is a star. I get it. But you're on the show, babes. You're on the show. And when we talk about this idea of being a real housewife, real housewives, what we like about them, especially the ones who have been in this game for a long time, for the most part, they can go from the ones we like, okay? The ones we like and the ones who are open, they can go from being no makeup, all natural, which K. Michelle looks perfectly fine, all natural, to being glammed up. And we want to see that dynamic, which is why people like Portia so much. It's because whether you agree with everything she does or says, at least she is and listen, I don't agree with everything she does. I don't agree with everything she says. But I will admit she at least is able to ride the waves. And she's written them since she's been on this show. And sometimes it's glamorous and sometimes it's not. But she still at least shows up, at least from what we can see as a viewer. And so I just didn't really understand that. Now, here's how I feel about Cynthia splitting up these rooms. I did not disagree with how she did it. I thought, yes, if you're going to put two people, these are two people that cry and scream about being BFFs. And sometimes it seems like they cannot tear themselves apart from each other. When Phaedra called them Ren and Stimpy, the way they act gives the Ren and Stimpy vibe. And I'm not calling either of those women animals like Ren and Stimpy, but it was just that as Kelly calls Portia and Phaedra whack, I don't know how Phaedra now fit into this, what Kelly has against Phaedra, but maybe it's in solidarity with Shamia, who had a confrontation with Phaedra in the last episode. I don't know. What I do know is there is something. I mean, Kelly at this point cannot let go of what this thing is between her and Portia. I do get her being upset about it. But what I don't get is just not confronting it head on. It's like, since it happened and you hugged her in her bosom, I thought that, okay, where else are we going to go with it? Like, yes, you said broken flowers from a broken person, but we still haven't sat down and gotten to the core of, girl, I'm actually really mad at you about what you said at brunch that day. And it has really impacted me ever since then. See, to me, it's got to be something productive. Can we be productive about the beef that we do have, right? It's like, at least with K. Michelle and Portia, yeah, they circled the drain for an episode. But I genuinely felt like for Portia, it was, hold on, let me clean this up. My thing with Kelly is my thing with Kelly. And that had to do something to do with what happened between us last season. Me and you are fresh slate. Let's start fresh and let's just move. Whereas for K. Michelle, she may be thinking, I ain't like that. I ain't like that. You did something to me. Now I'm just on my guard with you all around, and I don't really feel comfortable even being in my natural state around you. That's the vibe it's given. So when Cynthia puts Kelly and Shamia in the pool house, the outhouse, the dog house, as Kelly stated, I personally thought it was okay because, again, they are BFFs. They tell us they're BFFs all the time. And because they can't seem to tear themselves apart from each other, it would seem the best bet to put them in the pool house together. Definitely feels right to put Pinky in the tiny home because I do think that she has an energy of sort of lone wolf vibes, but can still mix and mingle with the girls and wouldn't be offended by it. So I didn't see anything wrong with it. The rest of the ladies are at the house, the main house, which is more than fabulous. The problem with Kelly and Shamia's rooms are they didn't like the fact that they got put in those small rooms. And for whatever reason, those rooms felt small. They had a problem with it the moment that Cynthia said it. So it wasn't, to me, it was the fact that the rooms aren't maybe clean. I do believe that. But I also think that there, to a small degree, is them feeling like they were excluded. in some way, shape, or form when someone would have to be excluded. I know they didn't think that the Bravo was about to have K Michelle up in the pool house. No, it was that was not going to happen. And who else would go in there? The only other two people that would have made sense to go in that house would have been Drew and Angela. But I think it made better TV to put Shamia and Kelly in there. Now, having said that, they definitely everybody deserves clean bathrooms, and I definitely would have been complaining had the bathrooms been dirty, had the room been dirty, had the room had stains on it. I definitely get them complaining and stuff, but also make sure you tell Cynthia, like, immediately. Tell her, like, girl, this is not going to work for me. And if it is not going to work for you, what is going to be your alternative? Because you've seen on some shows where I think it might have been Giselle, like, I'm just not staying in this room. Like, it is what it is. You could put me here, but I'm not going to stay in this room. Okay? So you put me here, but I'm going to stay someplace else. Meanwhile, they do get the solution. They're going to go and stay in Pinky's space. Pinky's going to stay either with Cynthia or with someone else. So the situation is really, do I think that Cynthia was trying to do something dirty to them? No. I think that she rented a house. She made the plans. She tried to figure it out the best she could. And she went with what made sense. Now, it is possible that during her walkthrough, she did not notice because it is, in fact, just a walkthrough. I am sure she is expecting top tier, top notch. So things like that, I'm sure she's not going to really be too worried or concerned about when she's got to manage certain other things. But it is her responsibility as the host to ensure that there is cleanliness involved. And I do believe that. The other thing that I want to say, though, is as Angela comes over to check on Shamia and Kelly, I do not for one second believe that she was just genuinely coming over to check on them. I really think she was going to get the tea because low-key Angela is the secret bone collector of this show. I think she knows that's her role, but she can get away with it because Angela has what most people don't, and that is finesse. Okay? It is finesse. And it is done in a way where it's almost evoked out of curiosity. Like, I'm being curious. But Kelly knows she's going to go back and tell these hoes what I said, and she's fine with it. Now, that type of energy from Kelly, I don't mind, because if you say it, then don't be shocked when somebody else tells that you said it. And Angela certainly does when they get to dinner. Okay? So by the time they do get to dinner, it is only going to be 6 of the ladies. And that is going to be Portia, Pinky, Cynthia, Phaedra. Phaedra was hilarious in this episode. I will give her that. But that, I think that's what she's there for, is the comedic relief. Angela and Drew. Now, Pinky, again, I got to give it to her because the woman shows up. She shows up. She doesn't run from the scene. Well, she almost did, but there's no excuses with her, is what I like. I respect that. She is in it. She's in it, sometimes too much so, but she is in it. And now she's going to question. She is leading the charge at the table. She is leading the girls. She wants to know from Cynthia, well, was there a purpose behind putting these ladies in that room? Why was the room dirty? Did you have any malintent behind putting them in that room? And I think because of her directness, and I ain't gonna lie, Pinky said it herself. She says she feels like she has masculine energy. So I'm sure a part of that for her comes across as a takeover spirit. Listen, I'm just repeating what she said. I ain't say it. She said it, not me. So I'm just putting 2 and 2 together about what she think about herself. So we then get to this whole situation where Angela's like, you seem kind of bothered. Now, see, for me, that statement, first of all, Angela, you already see that Pinky's on a level 50, okay? On the scale of, no, she's probably on the level 75 on the scale of 1 to 100. So you saying you seem bothered. Maybe that's not the best word. Maybe the better term would have been, Pinky, I'm feeling actually, I don't know how to say it, to be honest with you. And so, Angela, you probably said it best. I mean, you said what you felt. If you felt like she felt bothered in that moment, and maybe she did, because it's probably like, girl, why are you going up so hard for those two people who are sitting mere feet away, a stone's throw away over the balcony. They are sitting there filming and not eating. Are we all gonna pretend like they're not feet away? Like, cause I know the camera pan there and I know we can see them. I know they can see you because when the argument took place, they were looking right up at the pool. And so they knew, or either that or the producer said, y'all must to get up there. And if you was gonna go up there anyway, at the end of the day, just why not just go? It would be better for you to go and express your disdain to Cynthia and to her face versus complain and cry and whine and do all the hootenanny stuff that y'all did at the pool anyway. So you might as well have just come up the stairs and just simply put it all out on the table and got it out the first night. Girl, why would you put us in this room together? Why are you treating us like we are Ren and Stimpy? Why are we in the doghouse, the outhouse, the bathhouse, that house? Why are we over there? Do you have a problem with us, Cynthia, directly? Because I'm trying to figure it out myself. What is going on? Meanwhile, okay, as Angela questions Pinky, Pinky is like, bothered by who? By what? By you? You do not pose a threat to me. So there is no need for me to be bothered by you. And Angela's like, well, hold on now. Hold on now, Mr. Clean. Hold on now, Papa Smurf. Hold on now with your businesses and the or employees that you owe. Hold on now, girl. Hold on now. Don't do me. Don't do it because I don't even have to come out of my seat or break a sweat or really break out this fan to really get you and get you good. I don't really even got to do all that. Now I can sit right across from you and we can go toe for toe, and that's exactly what they do. These two women are going blow for blow, and at some point Angela says something about a wife in the basement, and I was like, what in the world? I had not heard that about Pinky. Pinky has told us 1,000 times about this bankruptcy, about the people she owe, about the $90,000, the $89,000, the restaurant buyback. It had to go and get the restaurant, had to go and do this, had to go and do that, go down to the paperwork place, go down to the people, go meet the lawyer, go meet the attorney. I'm gonna tell everybody else about the business, and I ain't gonna tell my husband about the bankruptcy, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. But we ain't heard not a thing about this woman that's apparently either trapped or living in the basement. Trapped, I'm totally being facetious when I say that. But the way it just came up and out of the blue, I'm thinking to myself, now, Angela, what in the world? Here's the thing. You got to watch out for, listen, here, let me say this. Just because someone does not curse, doesn't have a rah-rah personality, don't think that they can't get you together nice and easy without raising their voice. Okay? Don't think it. But the crazy thing about it that happened is that they kind of just wrapped it up. Like the way Angela brought it back down, like, no, but I'm serious. I do want to say this. You do seem a little bit like bothered, like upset about this whole situation. And Pinky's like, well, I just go hard for my friends. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if you know that Kelly is the one that said that she was eating the meats. Anyway, but I told y'all my theory about that. I feel like Kelly said that when she felt like Pinky was not responding to her DMs, and she probably took it personally that she did not. Everybody's not gonna respond to your DMs, girl. Like, it is what it is. So that was that. And again, Shamia and Kelly and K Michelle all made their way slowly up to where the scene was actually happening. So you might as well have made your way up there anyway. Anyway, those are my thoughts about this episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually might go back and rewatch it while I'm having my lunch, but I loved it. And I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Who's next? Who's up next for the read off? Who is up next? Because baby, if you go toe to toe with Angela, you better be ready. Okay, you have got to be ready. And I don't know if anybody on that show is quite ready for Angela. Also, too, I just want to say one other thing. Cynthia, you've been doing this show for way too long to be scared to tell these girls where they staying at for their rooms. It took Cynthia 13 minutes to tell them, well, the two ladies, e, I, o, I, o, I. I'm like, girl, spit it out. Spit it out. You are a veteran in this thing, and it is your trip. Just run these girls down this list of where they're staying at. Shamia and Kelly's gonna be staying down there. So go on ahead and do it. I know somebody might have said make a production out of it, but at the end of the day, I would have just been like the two people that can't seem to ever be apart. Mahi mama, oh oh mahi mama. If y'all got to be lockstep with each other like that, then yeah, I'm gonna put you guys in the outhouse, the boathouse, the pool house, the dog house, whatever house it is that is way down yonder. Or actually, it's literally right downstairs. But whatever, I'm gonna put you guys there because you guys like each other. So I'm gonna put you guys together. Why is that? I mean, and you guys both have separate bedrooms. I'm not asking you to sleep in a twin bed. But even then, the moment they were like, "Oh my God, I can't stay in the outhouse. So no, I can't. Why? Why do I have to stay in this lower level dwelling?" I mean, for Shamia, who's got Versace on the ceiling, maybe I can sort of see that because she's kind of like, girl, I can stay. I have this house. Okay, I already have this house, so I am not staying in that. But Kelly, I just think that you being so new on the cast in this world, also, I'm not saying you deserve to be in a tent. But I am saying that, girl, you've got so much going on back at the house. You would think you might just be happy for the vacay. You took a private jet there. You did. You took a private jet there, a whole private jet, and you got all these things going on. This is what happens. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. You even in your darkest moments, you have got to be thankful for the things that you do have. And that's the lesson that I took from that situation. In your darkest moments, because I think that the things that Kelly is going through are real, and I think that they are hurtful to her, and I think that she has an interesting story that a lot of you guys, I feel like, may be overlooking because you just don't like her, and I get it. Sometimes it's hard to get a general sense of who Kelly is because she has on so many things, right? But when Kelly was sitting at the pool and she was crying, and I'm like, there wasn't so much happening on her that I could finally see her. And that's what I want to see more of from Kelly. I don't she you Kelly, you don't need all the big jewelry, all the big clothes, or you don't really need all that. Yeah, you could do it from time to time, but it's like one big thing at a time. You know what I'm saying? Just one. And I think given that it is Met Gala Monday, we do have a moment for this fashion critique, and you don't have to do that much. You don't have to do that much. You could show up, I mean, and just look good. It's like, to me, Angela does this very well. When Angela shows up in her confessionals, you can see that she puts some effort into what she's got on, and she changes her hair, and but it's a style and an elegance that she has. And I think that I wish that sometimes, like what Kelly had on in the black, I felt like this is a little better in the confessional, right? But I was like, sometimes it just be like, oh my God, where are you? Where is Kelly in all of this stuff? And so I just need, if I wish that she would just scale it back a bit, because it's not the stuff that makes you a great housewife. It is the stuff that you're made of that makes you a great housewife. And I will just leave it at that. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you guys are interested in the faceless content creation workshop that we're going to be doing on Wednesday at 7 p.m., definitely tap in the link in the description, or it will be the link in the first comments. And I will be able to walk with you through how you can set up your own faceless channel and build that and grow that so that you don't have to appear on camera. I mean, here's the thing. I appear on camera because I like to. That's it. Okay. But sometimes I wish, I'm like, yeah, yeah, maybe I, maybe I should have maybe I should have done all this faceless in the beginning. But then, I don't, everything happens for a reason. So I created my own other faceless channels, and you can do the same. So with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.